Yeah, I get it. I am pretty sexy. I get it. I know. I'm being dead ass right now too. I'm not even joking. I'll never say dead ass again. I'm sorry. Also, relax. I'm not a fan of the Raiders. I just really like the shirt. Video is gonna be trash because I already started off explaining too much. Been about a month of unpaid child support, so I feel like I should give y'all some content to work with as far as a playlist, because I haven't really done that since about what. I almost said 9/11. I don't know why that came to mind. You all know what series this is, the songs playlist, where I give you a group of songs that I've been listening to over the past 4 or 5 weeks, and I lay them out to you in quick format so that you can have some new shit to listen to as well. First track on this songs playlist is gonna be Big K.R.I.T's Make It Easy. Love the song, made me feel good, made me feel amazing, made me feel like I could do something with my life, unlike these fucking YouTube comments that I see every other day. It really inspired me. It really made me feel like I could be something later on. I don't know if that'll be true, but Big K.R.I.T really made me feel like with this track, not only did he believe in himself and believe in his own come up, but he believed in mine, and I gotta support that. Sample in the background is extremely soulful and filled with hope and foresight, and I just love this track. Go listen to it if you haven't. The whole album might not be that way, but this track specifically is a must listen. I love my wife. Yes, I know. Look. I said in that review, the Chance the Rapper Big Day is Bad review. I told y'all somewhere in that review that if you wanted to condense this song or to condense this album to its most essential tracks, you'd have a small, very small EP to listen to for your entertainment. And I still believe that. As much as people trash the entire thing, I don't believe the entire thing was bad. But just as an album trying to get the job done, it doesn't work. So this little EP full of songs definitely must include Handsome featuring Meg Thee Stallion. This track not only has the versatility required, in my opinion, to be a hit, something much more than Hot Shower that Chance the Rapper keeps shoving down our throats on Twitter at the very least, but it has Meg Thee Stallion riding the beat like you would want her to ride a dick. I mean, honestly, this track is fantastic. Not really, but it's at least good enough because of Meg Thee Stallion. She does amazing with the flow. I've actually gotten very accustomed to the way Chance makes this song sound. I did rip on it at first initially for it having a lackluster hook, but I think it works to its benefit with Meg on the track as well. Off YBN Cordae's Lost Boy album with Anderson .Paak, I love this track as well. Easily reminds me of some shit that Nate Dogg would have done. Not a surprise that J. Cole, a fan of both Dr. Dre and Eminem, would recreate a sound like this that's, in my opinion, pretty inspired by that era of hip-hop. Definitely, like I said, in my opinion, sounds like some shit that Nate Dogg would have rapped over. I love the groove. I love the bounce. The track is really infectious. I see it being a hit later on down the line if it isn't already. Been listening to some Blueface lately. You know, it's not too crazy. The EP was all right, a little bit less than all right. I know people are still ripping on it, but in all honesty, I didn't expect much from Blueface other than to continue to devalue the marketplace and the value of the West Coast rap style. I didn't expect him to do anything more than that. That track with Lil Pump is still a banger. I love that track. I listen to it while I work out. I'm hitting legs tomorrow. Shut the fuck up. And I'm gonna love that track while I'm doing it. I'm on my leg press machine. I'm going crazy. That track is immaculate. It's amazing. One of the few good tracks on that EP, but it's still great. Listen to it. Speaking of West Coast, I told you guys a couple weeks ago, or at least my last playlist video about One Take J, showed him love. Gotta show some more love to my guy Rucci, who also released his album. I forgot the name of it. I know I'm a terrible lover shower. And I really enjoyed it. You know, La Bamba off that album is definitely a bop. The whole album is a pretty decent listen if you're into West Coast hip-hop. I definitely would recommend it. But like I said, La Bamba, my God, that track, it bumps, it knocks, it hits, it rides. It go crazy. Again, if you're tired of the mainstream praising and worshiping Blueface for coming out with this style, he's been ripping it off the artists that do it over there and that have been doing it over there for God knows how many years. I don't know, but they've been doing it and they do it better. I gave Tributerez exclamation mark album a bad rating out of 10, and I still stick with that. But listening to Tributerez in its entirety and listening to the discography, I got so saddened when I heard exclamation mark, because I was just like, wow, like how could he make something this dead and devoid of soul or emotion. That's just what it felt like for me personally. It felt really plastic. So going back in Tributerez's discography, I found other tracks from Life's a Trip, like Forever Ever with Young Thug, that I'm in love with. No, I'm not in love with Young Thug. I'm in love with the track he and Trippie Redd had a participate. Relax. And also off of his Love Letter to You 3 album. I know a lot of people publicly got on me for not actually publicly reviewing that record, but it wasn't as bad as I initially thought. I just never gave an opinion on it, but it wasn't that bad. It was all right. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty decent, I would say. It was a solid Trippie Redd EP or mixtape, I would say. For real, no cap, pussy nigga, no for real, no for real, no for real. Tracks like I Tried Loving, 1400 999 Freestyle, Loyalty Before Royalty, like all of these are just a good Trippie Redd time to me. And I just didn't get any of that off his new project. So if you haven't heard those projects, I would encourage you to listen, because they're much more lively and exuberant when it comes to that Trippie Redd delivery, that vocal style, that emotion. Sir has released a new track with Kendrick Lamar, and I am impressed because I didn't expect this track to be great. Last album I heard from Sir was November back in 2018, earlier in the year, and I was cool with it. You know, it felt like he was inventing his love on that album, for those of you who remember it, and I thought it was a pretty dope concept, just wasn't tied together that strongly with amazing tracks. This is a pretty decent track in my opinion. Really like Kendrick Lamar's delivery. His style is really dead and gets more animated as he continues his verse. Sir is pretty sensual in the background. It doesn't make for the most explosive song or anything like that, but it is still pretty wavy. I definitely encourage you to listen. I almost fell. I can't even clean that up. Drake's Care Package album, or that EP, that little project, it's not that great. It's not. But there are a couple of bops on there. There's a couple songs that he released and we all love. You know, the entire thing you're not going to love. And this is coming from a used to be Drake stan. I didn't like most of the tracks off this thing. But The Motion, 5 a.m. in Toronto, How About Now, all of them are speaking some true shit and some stuff that Drake and you can relate to. It's like you guys are blood brothers, but not really. I guess that's just emotion. With my dog Chubby Chubbs, that's my nigga from the way. That's not really my nigga. I don't know him. Looking back on it, at least I got a lot of other tracks on here too, man. This might be a longer video than I thought. I love when I got music to give y'all, because I'll be listening to this stuff and I'll be like, they gonna love this one. They gonna love this one, man. I know, right? There's no one over there. Baby Keem came out with a project in July, like a month ago this year, so I'm not too late on this project. I'm a little late on the Baby Keem train. Dude has a strong history with TDE. He's worked with Schoolboy Q on Num Num Juice. He's worked with J-Rock on Redemption, the Black Panther soundtrack. He's been putting his work in, and now he's got his album on his own. He doesn't really sound like them or sound like what I would expect to come from their camp, which is cool because I don't need another Kendrick or a Baby Q or a Baby J-Rock. He actually strikes me as someone who kind of would come from an ASAP crew, kind of stemming more from the New York scene of today, I would say. But I heard his album and there's a couple good songs on there, man. Honestly, check out Baby Keem, Die For My Bitch. Yeah, I know it's off-putting title, but if you die for your bitch, then listen to this. Orange Soda is fantastic. Honest is good too. Honest, I like that. That's a vibe. But Orange Soda, oh my god. Little bitch, shut the fuck up. Tell your best friend, shut the fuck up. Reason came out with another track titled High Hopes. I guess it's really about Reason, or at least from what I can get from this track. I haven't listened to it and like really paid attention to it because there was a line in here that really threw me off where he's in some capacity seemingly defending Bill Cosby. But in all honesty, this track is pretty decent. I don't think it'll roll over that well for people who are like really invested in like strong vocals. Female vocalist on this track does get a little bit, I would say, redundant. I don't really think I need her for as long as she's present. Reason's verses could be a little bit longer on this track, but I still was entertained by it. I guess the premise or the idea here is him being a symbol and not letting others down, and him seeing an example or a trend of symbols that he's looked up to, or symbols that have been a staple in the black community, be torn down by either society or a higher power. The track isn't amazing, but it's not bad. I'm actually more interested to see what people think of it than I am recommending it, but give it a listen. You never know. Young Thug came out with his album So Much Fun, and I'll be honest with you, it was moderately fun. It wasn't as fun as he made the shit out to be. And this is coming from a Thug enthusiast. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a fan, but I definitely encourage people to try Young Thug's music, because I do think it's off the cuff generally, and you can generally get a different appreciation for his type of music outside of just someone barring you up the whole song or relying solely on production. But I feel majority of this album does just that, is rely on production and partially throw Young Thug back into the generic rapper conversation. Not much in the way of vocal personality on this project, but there are breaks and moments where he does come back into what I actually subscribe to him for, or became a follower of his music for, or his art. And that is proven on songs like Ecstasy, Pussy, Jumped Out the Window. The initial track where he's rapping is actually pretty heartwarming, and I can understand and empathize with what he's going through or what he's trying to say. He's not in this to accomplish too much, but he definitely can look back on where he's come from and appreciate the position that he's in right now. And I gotta say that that's endearing to me. Ecstasy, though, oh my God, that track is fantastic. I know you've all heard it. If you haven't, then I don't know what rock you've been deep dicking. Why do I talk? Find your wave, in there. You're not gonna like the whole album. If you do, hey, find the nearest bridge, put your car in drive, and don't look back. I'm telling you, man. Listen, if you have not had sex to the laydown, women and men, everything hits different with this track. Oh my God. I didn't think it would be possible to be sexually attracted to a song, but the laydown with DRAM, you got Watt on the guitar. I think he joins during during the interlude of this track, or during the bridge with her. This track is phenomenal. This track is fantastic. R&B, soul, jazz inspired, a little bit of blues in my opinion. It is emotional, it is sexy, it is sensual, it is everything. It is life. This track is fantastic. DRAM introducing what the chorus is gonna be is so grand, large, and it seems to fill up all this space that the track introduces. Her coming in with DRAM is like an added bonus for the next hook. The next hook is amazing. It's louder, it's more vibrant, it's more like two bodies conjoining into one. When Watt hops on, I mean, he's doing the interlude, and at one point there's another voice that comes in. He's like a blues singer. I think he's like more in alt rock. But when he comes in with the guitar solo, I have never been so emotionally attached to an instrument being played at the end of a song since I want to say Dirty Diana from Michael Jackson. This guitar solo is, bro, just listen to it, okay? If I'm putting you on, that is fantastic. I love it. But you have got to listen to this track. You have got this fuck. Try to give y'all a little snippet so that you can be like a little bit enticed before you go into the track. But I don't want to show you too much because that song is fantastic. It's phenomenal. I love that track. QC came out with a very large compilation project featuring a bunch of their artists or a bunch of their collaborators, and you knew the whole thing was gonna be trash before you heard it. It was all trash. But Pink Toes with Offset and Gunna, surprisingly, is decent in my opinion. I'll listen to it. I can play it. Is it amazing? Not really, but I really love Offset's flows on this track, and that's really the highlight for me. So if you want to shift through the debris of QC's quality control to Control the Streets, and then I guess that track is the one in my opinion. ASAP Ferg and Dolla with Ride is a pretty cool experience. I was actually very disappointed that the songs on Floor Seats EP wasn't better than they were, because I was really looking forward to this. I think instrumentally we were kind of headed in a new direction. There was at one point a track that features some 80 synthesizers, in my opinion, with I want to say, I think it was the Rico Nasty track. I like that, you know, and I liked where the instruments were going, where they were headed, you know, where we were going with the beat selection. I thought they were really cool, but the songs just didn't really come together that well. But I mean, if you need to listen to any of them, I would say that will be a decent one to try out. I listened to the new Clpping track in preparation for their upcoming album, and I don't really know how to feel. The track is definitely off the cuff, but it's definitely very melodic, and the piano keys in the back definitely help glide me through the experience. There's at one point a rising synth. Again, you know how much of a syntho I am. It's kind of strange how the track evolves while I'm listening to it, but I don't really notice when it evolves. It just kind of happens. You'd have to listen to it yourself. I definitely recommend it. I'm definitely excited for their new work that's coming out. And speaking of groups that take hip-hop or take rap in a bit more of a different direction, more than just the alternative, in my opinion, we got JPEG Mafia with his new track. I think it's Sorry Jesus, I'm a Thot or something. This track is such a mind-bending experience when it comes to trying to decode what it actually means, because I think it's a really interesting track. Knowing the sarcasm and the wittiness and the way he likes to provoke, I would say, listeners and haters of his music, I can only say that this track is not only a, you know, diss to the actual title, but kind of almost a reflection of his music, a reflection of what might be how his music has been received by his audience, or how his music has been received by his haters. When I think about like Jesus, it could be the people that have the ultimate quote-unquote deciding say in how much range or how much reach your music ends up getting. He makes many sexual references in this track. He goes in and out from R&B to, you know, really edgy rapping. Vocals are distorted at some points. They're risen at some points. I just think the whole track is very together, but at the same time discombobulated. It's really weird to say. If you want some new art pop to listen to, I'd recommend Kelsey Lu with her Blood album. I really enjoyed that. You'll find tracks on there that are better than others, obviously. Seen It All with Jay-Z and Jeezy. It's a really old track, but I came back to it. I actually really enjoy that one. And that's really about it from what I got here. The new Tory Lanez and Joyner Lucas track is really fast rapping as usual. It's probably going to impress the YouTube audience. But above that, I don't really know how much it's going to do for people. Jorja Smith with a Prince, and that's all I got this week, okay? Don't ask me for shit else, okay? I'm ending the video now. Say hi to your mom for me. Like I said, I'm sexy, and I don't mean that unironically. I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my soul. So that's where we are. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, and I'm out. Bye. Bye. Bye, bitch.